Hello everybody, Shen Thomas here. Just going to talk about some differences within Siu Nim Tao, or Siu Nim Tao, from the different lineages of Wing Chun. And the differences can be quite extreme between each lineage. So I was taught under this Lineage lineage that even something as basic as the punch, our straight punch, right? And then you'll find, between each lineage, they'll do the training stance, the goat riding stance a little bit differently, and some people with Siu Nim Tao, it has to be totally exact, every millimeter, right? Every millimeter has to be totally exact, and you'll see my hand, my angle a little bit here, and they'll be like, nope, it's got to be totally straight, and then what I was also taught is that when we extend our arms, we don't extend all the way, we keep it bent, right, in our lineage, and that the punch is kind of this downward energy, downward. So even though we might intercept something kind of high, we'll drop the punch down and into their center line, and it's grounded. It's a punch that's grounded, right? So that was the Liang Xiang way. And Liang Ting learned from Liang Xiang for a while, and other teachers, right? But Liang Ting is, his straight punch launches up and out. And it's part of this wedge idea, and it's extended. And so, one day I was hitting the sandbag in my school under Eddie Chong, who learned under Kenneth Chun, who learned under Liang Xiang, okay? And Eddie was all about, you develop power here on the bag. You get that close. You develop power here. And Eddie had just sold our school in Salt Lake to Ron Heimberger, right? Who learned, I think, from Yip Chun or Yip Ching. And so he had a totally different way of doing his Wing Chun. So I'm sitting there punching on this bag, and this stranger comes up, doesn't even introduce himself, and he's all, oh, no, you're doing it all wrong. You need to get, totally at the total extended, punch into that bag at the very end of your extension. And Eddie was like, well, if you extend that arm all the way, you're going to end up with a broken elbow. Because what will happen is they'll intercept that extended arm, and that's what the Chum Q, they'll break that elbow. That's what the Chum Q move is. And in Chum Q, it's not this. It's not this. It's actually this. Trap and break, right, of the elbow. So, of course, Ron Heimberger is doing the punch, just like Eamon Bostepe, on the Liang Ting people. And so they extend it all the way out. And so since then, I've learned, well, each one of those punches, those differences, have their application depending on what's going on. Because I've learned that, that deflection idea of the wedge is actually another good, valid Wing Chun principle, just as much as not bending the arm, right? And so the main thing that Eamon has a problem with is when you're punching, if you don't extend, you're leaving kind of a gap or a hole that a punch can come through, right? Well, isn't that what Bong Sao's for? Isn't that what Tan Sao's for? To close that gap. So the punch is delivering the power, but then we go right back to the Tan or the Bong or the other tools, right, to close that gap. But what's also interesting is with the Liang Ting way of using that punch to deflect to the side, well, we don't use a punch in the Liang Xiang way to intercept another punch. We use a busao. A busao is our intercept. And so it's a little bit different than if you're trying to use a punch to intercept the punch, right? And so that's where I can see that the Liang Ting way actually does have merit. That with that idea of, you know, it's almost like a ship's prow, and you're cutting through the water. You're cutting through the attacks. So that's where I'm seeing that even though lineages can be very almost diametrically opposed to each other as far as how you should punch, right? How you should deliver that power. That one isn't necessarily the total end-all be-all correct way, right?